Hi, this is Joseph Burton
And this is Linda Burton.
with Fighting to Stay Married. This is another episode where we'll be going over Linda's book that she has written. It's called Dancing in Harmony, a guidebook to a harmonious relationship. So today we'll be going over chapter 2, which is titled Before You Ask to Dance, Think Long Term.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about what that means?
Yes. We're in a relationship. We're so in the moment. Sometimes we don't look at the person long term. Is this what I want to have this relationship be with this person and deal with these issues long term? As in the way they get upset, the way they talk to you, the way they feel about you, the way they feel about your family, the way if there's already kids involved, that relationship.
So how long then should a person start thinking about that? Because certainly you might not be thinking about that the first 2 weeks.
You should look at it when you first enter the relationship. The problem is you start getting comfortable with the person. You let your guards down. You're starting to relax. Both people. And things just happen. And things slide into changing and adjusting and being you. Because we do that interview look the first couple of times being with that person, the best of us. But then you start relaxing around the person, and then your true self come out, or their true self come out.
Oh.
And it's not bad or good. It's just who they are. It really comes out because
So
you can't keep being having your best foot forward in everything you do.
So it's easy to let things slide then.
Yes.
If you get too comfortable in a relationship and you don't stick to what you have in mind.
And we don't realize, we talked about blind spots. We all have blind spots. And we don't realize the blind spot that's going on right in front of us, but it's still a blind spot. There's things that we accept the person of treating us or doing that's not healthy or right for us. And this is the time we need to look and see, is this healthy? And sometimes we have our family or our friends have an insight of that, like, that's not good, or you need to take care of that. And we need to hear to that and not just blow it off, but take it in of, is this healthy? Is this right? Is this okay for that person to treat us that way? Because once we go farther in the relationship, it's harder to change it then.
So this is much more than just having a good time. This is serious when a relationship takes a serious turn, or you want it to take a serious turn.
Yeah, before you get to the point of, I want to be with this person for the rest of my life, you're in that stage of getting to know the person. Between that stage and the commitment stage of being long-term with this person, you need to look at the good things and the bad things and see if this is what I want to be with and deal with for the rest of my life. Is this okay for this person to do this for me? It could be disrespect. What level is that? What level is it of them doing or meeting your needs?
So how do you differentiate then between a bad moment and, how you distinguish between a bad moment or isolated event, then this is what the person is? Like, because everybody has bad days, and they might have to say something where they come back and apologize. So how do you distinguish what you want to put up with and for how long?
That's a good question. Part of it is thinking like this. On your worst day, it's still going to happen again. If your worst day is abusing, of hitting me or belittling me and putting me down, then is that something I want to deal with for the rest of my life? And is it going to be worse in the future, more comfortable we get to in our relationship?
So do you give a person one chance or two chances? Because you say if a person has a bad day and they actually belittle you, right? So do you cut them off then, or do you give them a chance to correct themselves? And so at what point in time do you make a decision?
See, that's the whole point of this book. It's not about me saying you get this many chances. It's for the person to look, and each person and each situation is so different. They have to make the decision. Just like the very last paragraph, it says this is the decision you have to make and you have to deal with for the rest of your life. I am not going to make that decision for that person. No one else can make that decision for that person. They're going to have to live with their decision. So only that person alone can make that decision. Is this a one-time thing and I really feel this person won't do it again and I'm okay with it? Or this one-time thing, no, I am not going to, this is my standard, this is my limit, and they cross the line and I can't go any farther with this person. Only that person that's making that decision can answer that question, because it varies between each person.
Yeah. So he might pick up. So you're a woman and you meet a guy and he does this that you absolutely don't like. So you end that relationship. But the next guy, you give a little bit more grace to. Like he does the same thing, not exactly the same way, but he does it, the same thing pretty much. But you decide to extend a little grace to that person. So how's that different from the first? So what did you see in that guy, or what a person may see in that guy versus the first one?
That only that female.
So
can answer
that person
question.
would know that, because so maybe okay. So I mean that does make sense. So the person might not necessarily say, "Oh, if you do this, and I can go through 15, or I won't." That's too much big of a number. I can go through 3 guys very easily in a year because they got to that point and they did the exact same thing and I cut them off.
Yeah, but sometimes if it gets to the point that you keep coming across of the person's doing something, then you need to stop and look at you. Are you being attracted to that person? Are you you also have to look at yourself.
I'll see.
And see why is this happening. Slow down and just go back to the introduction page when you find out about you and what you're looking for and what your type of person you want to be with. So you will have to go back a little bit and find out, am I into a pattern and how do I get out of this pattern? So
would you say then, because in my note that I wrote down, this is definitely the stage where you have been going out for a while.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is a stage. Because in the beginning, it's everybody, like I said, it's interview stage. Everybody's going to put their best foot forward. That's the best of them. After time, you relax. We were saying that 2-year get to know you person. And I'm starting to realize we say 2 years so much, and it's not actually 2 years. Some people get married in 6 months, and it's okay. It's just the point of getting to know that person, of taking the time and knowing, even if you get married in 6 months, you're still going to learn about some people, that person. We've been married 27 years, 28 years this year, and we're still learning about each other. So it's just the point that you have enough and you feel comfortable that you know this person enough to be in a relationship to the point of taking it to the next level and being serious with the person.
I see. Okay.
One other part that I wanted to share is when it talks about evaluating your relationship, it says, ask your friends, ask your family, talk to your counselor if you have one, and get their opinion of what they see that you might not see. Is this a good relationship? Do you see something that I don't see? Sometimes we don't realize the person is disrespecting us, or we don't realize, I don't think that person really care about you the way you think they do. And because we are so in love or so caught up in the moment, we don't see the whole picture, or we excuse it. So this is the time also that you ask different people of just what they think. How do you feel about this person? So you can
be willing to hear the truth.
Yes. And make a decision off that before you commit long term of what do they see? And look for it. Because when you first meet somebody in that interview stage or that beginning dating stage, you see what you want to see. You want to see the best of the person because you want it to work.
Yes.
It's when you start seeing their flaws and say, I can deal with that and I can't deal with that. You have to look for the flaws. Everybody has flaws.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I wrote down too, because the tough part that some people will have is that they might not want to give up the time they have been with that person to leave the relationship.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Right? So there's a lot of time, and even these things are happening. So that's why you have to act on it quickly.
Yes. Because the more time you put in the relationship, the harder it is to leave the relationship, because it's like I put so much energy and I invested so much in it, and look at it now.
Yeah. Okay. And that's a very interesting chapter then. So now, did you want to go over some of the self-reflection questions?
You was going to pick one for the audience to do at home.
Well, number 4 says, what part might previous life experiences play in helping you assess you and your partner's compatibility?
How about you read it again?
Yeah, I kind of fumbled that a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
So what part might previous life experiences play in helping you access your and your partner's compatibility? So that's a question that you can consider, think about, take some time to bounce off each other, because there's a lot of insight. So like I said, this book is very, very meaty, and you can talk for a very long time about some of this stuff.
Yeah, and taking the time to really know the person, that's the most important part about this chapter. And that's the
patience. That's the time. See, that's a lot of, that is where I think we as a culture, where we are now, because everything is so quick. Give it to me now, give it to me now, give it to it quick. I don't want to wait that long. Why do I have to wait 6 months?
Yeah.
When I can get it now? So, but for the long-term benefits, you need to slow down a little bit and don't expect everything so quickly.
And don't expect to change the person. So if you do see a bad habit, or you see something you don't like in their character or what they do, please don't go into it of, okay, when we get married, then I can change that person.
Or even before they get married, I can change the person.
Yeah, please don't go in that mindset.
Because everybody has because everybody do have their journey that they have to go on. There's lessons to be learned. We have been taught the wrong things, so there's things to be unlearned. Right? So people have their journeys to go on.
Yeah. And during your marriage and during your time together, you're going to grow. You're not going to stay the same. You're both going to grow to become better people. But you can't have that mindset of they won't do this, or they're not going to do this once we get married. They're only doing this because we're dating, or they only do this because of this.
Yeah.
No, you have to take them the way they are right now. You find the flaws and then figure out, can I live with this long term?
And then you got to be able to separate those blatant, outright, outrageous kind of character flaws.
And make that decision, is this what I really truly want?
Racism or abuse, alcohol. I mean, there are some things that there are definitely red flags that you probably don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, and you have to go in with your eyes open. How are they financially?
Yes. And
how is it going to work?
Yes. Okay. All right, so that wraps up chapter 2 then. It was a very good chapter. So is there anything else that you want to kind of just leave with the audience? One last tidbit of something?
No, I can't think of anything right now. It's just when they read the book, just take your time. It's not a long, heavy chapter, but it's deep inside, and it's set up for you to just think and process. It's not set up for you to just read and go to the next page. It's set up to read a paragraph and just think about it.
Okay.
And evaluate your life and your thoughts and your actions and what's going on in your relationship, and then do the next paragraph and do the same thing.
Gotcha.
So it's not set up of just a rush read.
Oh, I agree with that. So, okay, so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And we will see you next time on chapter 3, when we will talk about Ask to Dance, asking for a commitment.
Thank you for listening.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.